we have two categories here. We got a pretender, playoff pretender, and a
Let's pull it up.
tank commander. I guess maybe we can call it them tank commanders. I can go first, or we can go whoever else goes first. But we'll do a playoff pretender who's actually not as good as they were. Maybe we got a few hints from last night, but
Cowboys.
All right, Mikey, you can start. Who's your playoff pretender?
Bills.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Dude,
I
being serious.
I need a little bit more on than just the name against probably the third best team in the AFC.
Dude,
How are they protected?
just lost to the Jags.
In London. That game doesn't matter. Like good job for the Jags, but
I'm sorry. We're just gonna pass up their other loss was to the terrible Jets.
Division
Even the Patriots could beat them.
divisional game, bro.
Oh, I'm just saying. Dude,
I
Josh Allen's a bum. They're all figured out now.
The one divisional opponent that actually matters in that division that can actually play him in the playoffs, they manhandle pretty much.
the interesting thing here with that 70-point game that the Dolphins had, the Buffalo Bills have 33 more points in point differential than the Dolphins.
Interesting.
I was also just kidding. I'm sticking with the Cowboys.
Okay, Cowboys. who is
The
your
Bills.
who's your tankathon team right now?
Patriots.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Tank it up, dude. Screw it. I don't even care anymore.
All right,
Tank for Williams.
moving on
please.
to you, Gage. Who are your playoff pretenders as of right now? I think I know where you're going.
Wait, who am I going?
I think you're going AFC North, and I think you're going Pittsburgh.
So I want to say him, but they're not going to make the playoffs. Like they're not a playoff team.
They're 3-2. They're 3-1 in their conference actually. So they actually I think rank third in playoff standings as of right now.
Well, whoever gets to play them in the first round, if they actually make it, congratulations, you got a 30-point win, just like they've been doing the last 3 years when they go in there and they get walked.
Maybe if Kenny Pickett can ignore Matt Canada, we can see them actually have an offense.
No. My playoff pretenders, I guess right now, the Colts are in that right now, but I struggle. I think the AFC South, or I mean the NFC South, right? The AFC South and the NFC South. Like you've got the Buccaneers, the Saints, and the Falcons. One of them is going to make the playoffs, but I don't think that they're really playoff caliber teams. Yep. They've got the benefit of playing in a division where they're the NFC East of 10 years. When someone had to make the playoffs out of that division, so they got in. But then the AFC South, I think it's a better situation because you expected a lot worse from that division and you thought it was just going to be a runaway from the Jags. But I don't think if the Colts or the Titans, if they squeeze into the playoffs, they're going to win or compete with anything. That's a good job. We progressed this season and now we can build on that. So I guess that's my pretenders, but really it's hard to say this early.
Yeah,
I feel like week 8 to 10 is kind of when you'll decide figure out who are pretenders.
Who are your tank?
A lot easier to know who are the actual contenders for the Super Bowl already. You kind of know there's an echelon of teams.
Yeah,
and then there's everyone else right now.
Okay.
My tankathon.
Yeah, tankathon team.
Mikey already took the Patriots.
You can say them again.
I'm going to go with the Vikings.
Ooh.
We talked about it all off season, how they overplayed themselves. They had this great record last year and it wasn't gonna do the same this upcoming season. You can't win so many, they were 11-1 in one score games last year. That is not gonna happen. The NFL is a lot of skill based, but a lot of luck. And right now they're 0-3 in one score games, and that luck has turned. It was going to revert back, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better. They could win half their games, but it's not going to happen until the latter half. Like you lost against the Chiefs. You've got to play. Let's see. They have a rough schedule coming up. So they lost against the Chiefs. Unfortunately, that was the Chiefs, and you get to play the refs as well. But then they play the Bears, who are on a high, and and the Vikings aren't, and they're playing for the division. And divisional games are never as simple as you think. Like, you're like, oh, the Vikings are a better team. Well, maybe, but they know how each other play, so we'll see how that one goes. Then you've got the 49ers. Good luck. Honestly, I don't see a team beating the Niners this year. It would be a divisional opponent.
Yeah.
Or they let people win at the end of the year. But yeah, that's my Tankathon team.
Bold choice.
And unfortunately, I don't think it really matters because Kirk is playing great, but that team is just
their defense is just
bad.
not up to snuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so my playoff pretenders. I don't know if this is bold, but I'm gonna go the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, I like that.
Only because they're 3-1 right now. Their one loss came from the Los Angeles Rams. But I can see them being in the playoffs, but I just don't see them doing a whole lot, else. Just because I do think Gino is somewhat limited as far as where he can take the team. I feel like if they get behind, they're not a team that comes back to win and things like that. My Tankathon team, though, if I had to choose one, the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, that was what I was set in between.
I would say also the Carolina Panthers, but they don't have to do anything to tank.
They don't get anything if they tank. They better hope that they just start winning something.
Exactly. So Denver Broncos, I really like that one. The Giants are also, in the same boat. But man, just the Denver Broncos situation is not good. You gotta survive Russell Wilson's contract to a point, but they're gonna start selling people to get under the cap, get younger players in, start getting more draft picks, and Sean Payton can rebuild that Denver team if he is the one.
Do you even want Sean Payton rebuilding it? I mean, she is.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he did say that it was one of the worst coaching jobs to come into. I mean, he was saying that.
Yeah, he's doing really good.
About Nathaniel Hackett, but yeah, I think they're a tank team.
And I think they're interesting because they are trying so hard not to.
Yeah. But their defense, like outside of Surtain, is kind of meh. Their offense, outside of the occasional Marvin Mims, bomb, just kind of meh. So I think they're a good candidate for that. They're gonna get beat up by the Chiefs. They're gonna get beat up by the Chargers. The Raiders, they can kind of battle for their draft picks, but those are my teams.
Well, since we're talking about the Tankathon teams, if we pull up the draft order, Chicago holds 1 and 2 right now.
Yeah.
Denver 3, Minnesota 4, New England 5. So we were talking about it. What?
It changed?
Yeah.
Carolina to Chicago for 1. To Chicago, Denver, Minnesota, New England. They're all tied. And then
I know, but
Arizona, New York.
I think off strength of schedule.
Yeah, strength of schedule.
Well, we have the hardest schedule in the NFL.
You have harder the most, but the Cardinals and
right,
Giants,
which is why you're further back because they have a worse schedule and they've lost more, so they're the worst team.
So it's based off the wins that the teams that they played. Yeah. So as of right now, Chicago gets two top 2 picks, which I just don't think is going to happen.
Time to keep losing.
But
no, I think they'll finish with 1 or 2, and then like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
At the end of the year.
Yeah.
We're gonna have 1.
But that comes to the that brought up our question. We kind of talked about it over text earlier today. But if you're the Bears and you end up with the number 1 overall pick, whether that be because of your own failure or because of the trade you had with Carolina last year. Do you pass up on Caleb Williams, who I wasn't like super high on last year? I was like, he's getting a lot of hype, too much Patrick Mahomes stuff, and then watching him like every game this year, I mean, that kid is he makes some throws that are like not just like, oh wow, that's a really good college play. Like that, dude, that's like incredible
for sure.
like arm talent. Like
I think with Chicago, if it's their
Straight
pick
up.
that's the number one, that means you lost the most amount of games, you played the worst. I think you
Yeah.
gotta get rid of Justin Fields at that point.
but say you finish like 8th and you finish with like a record of like 6-10.
if the
Which-
Bears can go 8-9 at this point, that means winning the next 7 out of their next 12. I think they keep Fields because it seems like something else is going on that's they're able to fix with Justin Fields. But I think if not, you gotta move that head coach out. You gotta change the system. I think this is Pole's second year, so I think he still has some leeway. Go grab Caleb Williams. Go grab another head coach, and you buy yourself a lot more time. Which I mean you don't really need because you have Caleb Williams. And I think that's what you got to do. But if it looks like Justin Fields isn't the problem and it's just like everything else, then I think you keep Fields and you go and get Marvin Harrison Jr. or Mbuka or whatever his name is, stuff like that. So I don't know.
Well, I said it to like Mikey brought something up. What did you say, Mikey, in there about the Bears and Ortex?
No, I said trade out, get another haul.
Yeah.
I just have Justin Fields
Yeah.
can keep playing at the same pace that he's playing at now. I mean, like, why would you try to move on from him?
Or move on from him.
Because at least he's showing improvement now, and he's actually showing that he can play. Now you just got to keep building the squad around him, and maybe it's coaching at that point too. He has said that it has been on coaches before. We know what he can do. We see him do it at Ohio State. He can make plays just as good as Caleb Williams can. Like you have Caleb Williams basically at quarterback right now.
Yeah. The only thing
Except for the fact that
is that you had basically in that Commanders game, you had DJ Moore just beat up on the cornerbacks that the Commanders have that aren't that great.
and they didn't adjust. They did the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play off ball and then be aggressive every single time, and he just threw hitches.
Well, they're gonna play the Vikings and the Raiders, so they're gonna look a little bit better early or later on in the season. But I think it's all gonna be crashing down when they play the Lions twice in 3 weeks, the Browns, the Cardinals, the Falcons, and the year with the Packers. So they're gonna end on such a downturn.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
potentially we could. I mean, maybe Fields keeps playing like he is, and he's finally starting to figure it out. And him and DJ Moore are now getting the chemistry. And I mean, but like, if I was the Bears, I wouldn't look to move on because you already traded up so much to get Justin Fields in the first place as well. And then you're just another San Francisco 49ers. And now you're just going to trade away Justin Fields, but you're going to expect a freaking arm and a leg from team for him when he just played like shit, and you're willing to move on from him.
Well, they could also keep their pick, take Caleb Williams, trade down, and get that haul too with what they have from the Panthers pick.
That's
So
true.
my thought process is, what's his name? Eberflus. He's gone at the end of the year.
Gone.
I don't think he can.
He's already.
I don't
gone.
think he lasts the year, right? And new coaches come in, and they're not going to stake their job on somebody else's player. That's somebody else's
I don't
draft
know.
pick.
I mean, if they believe in Justin Fields,
Listen. I was a Browns fan. That happened all the time.
yeah,
all the
but
time. We come in. I want a different quarterback. That's not my guy.
Frank Reich came
you
into the
get-
Colts
you get-
because of Andrew Luck.
Dylan froze. Mikey froze.
No, he didn't.
Maybe
You
I froze.
No, but Frank Reich came to the Colts because of Andrew Luck. We had to get rid of our head coach, and Frank Reich was like, "Yeah, obviously I'm taking Andrew Luck." There might be a coach that says, "Hey, obviously I'm taking Justin Fields." Yeah, Gage is gone.
He's outie.
He's gone. Let's see if he jumps back in here, but if he doesn't, in the next like little bit, we'll kind of end this maybe. But I think Eberflus, if he's gone, I don't think that means Justin Fields gone. I don't think if there's reason to keep Justin Fields, you can still move the head coach, bring in someone else. They did that with Rodgers. They did that with plenty of other people. Here's Gage. He is back. I was just saying that there's been coaches that have been replaced and the quarterback stayed before. I mean, if Justin Fields is looking terrible, I understand that. But if he's looking like he is right now, I mean, I think the coach is going to be brought in because of Fields.
Here's what I argue with. If you're going to likely end up with the first overall pick, I don't see the Panthers playing much better. I don't think they're going to be able to pull out enough wins to not be in that situation.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what we're doing this hypothesis all on, right? You're going to have the pick of whatever coach you want. Maybe it's Ben Johnson from the Lions. He's going to have his pick. You can move Fields because people believe in Fields. He's a good quarterback. But like Caleb Williams is like already being compared to Patrick Mahomes. He's like that can't miss prospect. Do you let him go in hopes to like build your team around a quarterback that you're hoping can play good, that you're like, okay, he finally had 2 decent weeks. He finally is playing decent. Like, what if he just plays decent like that all year long, but not like at that same level? What if it's up and down like he's been all year?
If the season ended today, I would say you draft Caleb Williams. But we're talking about the hypothetical. What if their first overall pick is from the Panthers and the Bears are looking like Justin Fields isn't looking like he's the problem. It's just we got to get Matt Eberflus out of here. We got to change the head coach, like the coaching staff. If Justin Fields isn't the biggest problem and he's looking like he's hitting that potential a little bit, like every other game or something like that, that's kind of what we're talking about more so than just right now.
And I'm here to argue with that. I like Ohio State. That's my second team. Like, I'm a Boise State fan, and then I like Ohio State. What?
I said gross, but go on.
Yeah. I like Fields. I think he's good. I think he'll succeed. If I'm building a team and I have that first overall pick, dude, take Caleb Williams. Trade that other one, but take Caleb Williams. Trade Justin Fields and trade that other first round pick if you want, and build your team that way instead of trading that first overall pick for 3 first round picks and maybe a player. Trade Justin Fields for 2 first round picks or a first and a second and use those for players. I mean, you're still going to get a haul either way because you still have Justin Fields on the roster. You can end up like the Arizona Cardinals when they moved on from Josh Rosen and got Kyler Murray, except now you have a guy that's actually worth a damn and you can get something back as well as taking the guy that's better for your team.
Well, and I think it kind of goes back to Brock Purdy in a way too. If you can build a team around, it almost you almost want to have a quarterback that can run the system more than you want to have the game breaker. So I can kind of see what you're saying. Having just the game breaker kind of covers a lot of flaws. But I also think if you have 2 top 10 picks and you have the chance of getting Marvin Harrison Jr. and say a defensive player that can change the game on the other side, maybe that is more than having Caleb Williams and a corner or something like that.
That's fair.
But if you have
Marvin
any other,
Harrison is pretty damn good.
Yeah. If you have any other thoughts, though, guys watching here, please comment. We like to put our thoughts in the comments as well. We always respond. And if you stuck till the end, obviously you need to subscribe. You need to like this video. And any other last words, Mikey, Gage?
Tank for Williams.
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, if you haven't already, please like. But we are going to wrap this up. Stay tuned for other videos. We'll be out there. And good luck to your team and your fantasy team. Hopefully everyone all wins.
Let's not talk about it.
All right. Well, peace out. Have a good one.
See you guys.